En la ciencia.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Dub Did Its Dumb Dealer Weekly, where I bring to you the dumbest moves done by the dumbest dealers in the United States of America and the world. So let's go ahead and let's jump right into today's topic. Meet Julio Aguirre. The 18-year-old kid is now facing life in prison over 10 grams of some bud. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. 10 grams of some marijuana, some pot, some dirt, some whatever you want to call it. A little bit of boo. Alright, it's basically what it comes down to. But not only was it 10 grams of bud that he went down for, but he also went down for a fake $100 bill. Now, it isn't what you think, ladies and gentlemen. So go ahead and kick back and let me tell you a little story. In late November of 2019, Aguirre allegedly met up with two men that he met through the social media app Snapchat in order to take part in a transaction. Now, according to Jamian Rivera and Isaiah Iron, they met Aguirre at a local tattoo shop to sell him a pair of tennis shoes. Now, the only problem is that, well, allegedly the tennis shoes they were selling him were knockoffs. Now, when Aguirre picked up on the deception, he actually began to fire at the men as they sped off in their vehicle, striking one of them in the back. Wait a minute. Just wait a goddamn minute. This don't sound right. Okay, so the two men went to sell. It's a bunch of bullshit. You know what? They actually got the story from Aguirre himself. So let's see what Aguirre said happened. Alright? Bring it back. Okay, so Aguirre told police that he met the two there to do the transaction, alright? And that words were exchanged, and that when he was trying to leave, the two men were blocking his car in a threatening manner. Now, Aguirre felt he was in danger. He feared for his life. And before he sped off, he shot at the men, striking one of them in the back. So for me, this doesn't make sense in two ways. For one, it doesn't say what kind of transaction you met him there for. Two, how did he hit them in the back if they were standing in front of his car? That don't make no sense. Alright, so obviously we're not getting any truth from the victim, and we're not getting any truth from the alleged shooter. So you know what? Let's just see what the police have to say, alright? Now, according to the police, alright, the story the two men told them and the evidence on the scene didn't match up. Not one bit. Now, after grilling these guys for a little bit longer, and I'm pretty sure they threw some threats of jail time and whatnot in there, they decided to cooperate with police. Now, apparently what happened was the two men met up with the Aguirre at the local tattoo shop, right, after setting up the reefer deal online through Snapchat. When they met up with the then 17-year-old dealer, they decided that they didn't want to spend any real money on the Dizzo. Alright, so what they did was they went through Spencer's, you know, that little store that sell that weird, and they bought a fake $100 bill, and they gave them that instead. So I guess they did the deal, whatever the case. The younger man became upset when he noticed the money was fake. Maybe the two dudes just walked off or whatever, and as they got in their vehicle, well, boy started busting. And, you know, apparently he hit one of them. Didn't knock him off or anything like that, but he did hit one of them in the back. And, yeah, that was that. Now, when police confronted Aguirre about the statement made by the victims, he said that he didn't pump one in him because of the money. He said he knew the money was fake. He said it was over something else. They didn't specify what that something else was, but the sad truth is I'm pretty sure it was over the fake money. Alright. Stupid. Now, according to the court records, alright, Aguirre is facing 2 felony charges. The first one is the more serious, premeditated attempted murder. Alright, and that's a capital felony in Florida, which carries up to a life sentence. And the other one is shooting into a vehicle or a building, which is a second degree felony, which carries, what is it, up to 15 years or something like that. I don't think he needs to worry about that one when he got that big one looming overhead. And, this kid's going away for at least a minimum of 15 years if he gets sentenced under that capital felony. Alright. Now in Texas, the capital felony, you heard that? I ain't editing that out. In Texas, a capital felony is punishable by lethal injection. But that's usually when it involves the M word tagged along with other felonies. Alright. So in Florida, I guess it's the same thing, more or less. But, nobody was killed. So he's looking at life. Since he was 17 when it happened, after 15 years, they will reevaluate his sentence. But the hell's wrong with this kid? How is he going to... and this is why I'm putting him on as my first story, because this is the kind of stuff that happens when you're in the game. Alright? You feel like you're Mr. Dope Dealer of the Year. You feel like you're the guy the rappers are talking about when they're singing about living that trap life. You sell a little bit of weed and you think you're somebody. You feel like you got a reputation to uphold. Shut the up. You know what I'm saying? You ain't shit. When you get to prison, when your little ass gets to prison, oh man, you're gonna have a hard time, son. Look at this guy, ladies and gentlemen. He's not scaring anybody. And I don't know if they still got it. I've been watching 23-1 Lockdown and End of Sentence. They got them, what do they call it, JIT camps for little youngsters like him. Man. Now, this dude obviously started selling bud to make money, right? So when you factor in cost of the lawyers, the amount of time he's gonna, be in jail when he could have been out making money, etc., etc. Oh, commissary costs. This dude obviously got in the wrong line of work. His head wasn't right. The game just, anybody can pick up some work and try to sell it. But if your head ain't right, if you ain't built for it, you ain't gonna last. This is what happens. Over 10 grams of weed. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I never lost my temper when I got burned. Hell, it almost cost me my life. You know what I mean? But I wasn't out shooting in the middle of a parking lot. Had I had the gun on me, I probably would have, but I didn't. You know what I mean? But this kid, man, it's weed, bro. It's freaking weed. You gotta think about shit like that. Is this worth it? So before anybody decides to jump in the game, ask yourself, is this worth it? Because this is the kind of stupid shit that happens. The kind of stupid shit that happens. This kid will not get to enjoy his life as an adult if he doesn't get, let out as soon as that 15 years is up. Or if he doesn't get probation. Even if he gets probation, well, he's probably going to end up in prison anyways. Nobody lasts on probation. Except me, of course. No, I'm just playing. But, yeah, man, it's fucked up. And the other two dudes that tried to jack him, I hope the cops got them for trying to use counterfeit money. I don't know if it counts if they're trying to do it in a drug deal, but you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I don't feel bad for those two guys, not one bit. They got what they deserve. They didn't die, so I'm not saying that them dying over that would have been worth it, but they got shaken up a little bit. Teach them and pull some bullshit like that on somebody else. But I guess because they saw he was a young kid, they decided to go that route with him. That's why, I mean, I don't understand it. See, a few years back, I don't know what it's like everywhere else, but a few years back, here in where I'm from, these groups started popping up on Facebook where people would get on and they would post up, you know, everything that they had for sale. Shit, man, you name it, you can find it on there. And they did it out in the open, under their Facebook profile, under their baby mama's Facebook profile. Not a care in the world. And during this time, it was so funny because there were so many complaints on that website about people getting jacked, people getting burned, people using fake money. And I guess the reason why this was happening was because before people were trying to hit these kind of links, they can kind of look at the person's profile and, you know, kind of determine if the person's a punk or not. You know what I mean? Somebody they can get over on. And, you know, that's pretty much what happened in this situation. Now, luckily, nobody was wounded in this situation. Well, they're wounded. No, I take that back. Somebody was wounded. But fortunately, nobody was murked, slaughtered, done in, put down, whacked. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's somebody that I know. You know, like I mentioned, all this Facebook stuff was going on back in the day. And this person and her boyfriend, or whoever the hell he was, met up with some people to sell some cold. You know what I'm saying? I think it was like a quarter of some cold. And the people tried to scam them. They just yanked it out of his hands. And they got into the van and they took off. Well, this dude jumped on the van, right? Over a quarter of some ice. While he was holding on to the van, the girl and her friends got in the car and they were following them. Well, they got on the freeway. The dude was telling them, stop, 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 so I can get off. They weren't stopping. So they hit a bump. The dude flew off the car, went underneath their van, and the girlfriend and the friends ran him over as well. And the dude died. Like 10 days later. Over a quarter ounce of ice. So you think about that, ladies and gentlemen. You think about that before you decide that you don't want to get a job. Before you decide that you're big and bad and hard enough to get in the game. Alright? Well, I mean, you know what? I don't judge nobody. You know, to be honest, I give you guys the facts. I tell you how to do it, but I also tell you what happens if you do it. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so I hope you guys like this little segment. I'll try to keep these sorts of deals coming as long as people watch. And that's all I got for now. Make sure you like, subscribe, check out the Patreon. Shout out to all my Patreon users. Duncan. Who else we got? We got, damn, I ain't got my list here. But y'all know who you are. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know who you are. And I tremendously, absolutely 100% appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I want, you know what? I'm gonna get a proper thank yous to my my Patreon people here at the end of this video or throughout the video. You know what I'm saying? Much love to y'all. Anyways, dub out.